Yes, he technically stalked Stella. Whatever, man. It wasn't anything crazy. He just had a really big crush on her. I don't know if the battery life is gonna be super great on this one, but I'm gonna use this camera until it dies. So if I switch, I have a great idea. Hold on. Everybody say happy birthday, Tony. Happy birthday, Tony. Tony is... Oh, hell yeah. Tony is my truck, and he turns 10. Technically, oh, this middle seat is really not that comfortable. Oh, I thought this would be, like, really comfy. Tony is my truck, and yes, he turns 10 this month. Happy birthday, Tony. If you can hear a little bit of traffic, it's because I thought it would be cooler today and I was wearing a sweatshirt while I was out and about getting some coffee. It's not as cool as I thought it would be. So with the windows up, I start sweating, and then I start listening to my heartbeat, and then I start thinking I'm having a heart attack because I'm slightly overheated, and start panicking for no reason. So I needed to roll them down a little bit so I don't sweat. Hi guys. Welcome back to my channel. I just finished watching a Larry Reed's video like an hour ago, and my first thing that I wanted to say when turning on my camera was like, hello my besties, hello my shoddy babies. That's not your thing, Heather. That is literally Larissa's thing. It's just catchy. Today I'm going to be reading my favorite books 1-star reviews. I'm gonna pull up Goodreads. You know when someone asks you your favorite book and you're like, I have like so many, I don't even know what to tell you. Which one should we start with? I'm kind of blanking. I think I'm gonna start with Butcher and Blackbird. Butcher and Blackbird is a book that I recommend to people if they like the Mind series. This is one of my favorite reads of the year. 6 out of 5 stars. It was so good to me. The difference between it and the Mind series though is this is way more comedy, where I feel like the Mind series, while it has a serial killer aspects obviously because of Lana Myers, I feel like you're more emotionally invested in the story, whereas in Butcher and Blackbird you're like laughing so much. I was not laughing that much in the Mind series. Butcher and Blackbird. This is a friends to lovers dark romantic comedy. FMC and the MMC are both serial unalivers, and it means so much to me. Bryn Weaver, you really outdid yourself with this book. I'm not going to do this for every book, but let me just read my review of this book, and then I'll read the 1-star reviews. I said, iconic, amazing, out of this world, incredible. I could go on and on. The most perfect dark rom-com. I really enjoyed other books I have read by Bryn Weaver, but she really outdid herself with this one. When I read the trigger warning, I was only mildly concerned, mostly because I genuinely thought one of the main characters was going to be a cannibal, because there's a cannibal trigger warning, an accidental cannibalism trigger warning. And I can happily say, do not worry, because that is not the case. The not-so-accidental cannibalism was actually a very funny addition to the book. Rowan, the MMC, had a lot to live up to with a name like that, and I can fully say he did. His witty nature and overall character was... the emojis. My man was obsessed, and Sloane, I love that she was a bad but also had normal people anxiety. 1-star reviews of this book. I'm kinda nervous. Absolutely horrendous book. Okay. Okay. There could have been a better set plot. Kind of felt underwhelmed throughout. What do you mean, a better set plot? They are serial killers killing serial killers. They literally are playing and competing with each other in the book to see who can kill a serial killer before the other. Like there's a competition between the two main characters. What do you mean it's a better plot? What more do you want? Underdeveloped characters, insta-lovey. I will say it was a little bit insta-lovey because like Rowan was a little bit obsessed with her from the beginning, but she wasn't obsessed with him from the beginning, and like he was kind of head over heels from the start. I needed that. I need to read books like that sometimes. It really makes the book sometimes when the guy from the start is like obsessed with her. Ah! Okay. I'm gonna read one more. I DNF'd this book. If I could give it 0 stars, I would, LOL. The graphic gore didn't bother me at all. It was the horrible story. Wait, it was the horrible story or lack thereof storyline. The two main characters whine about who likes whom. They don't see each other for up to a year at a time. I think it had potential to be a good book, but it's not. This book doesn't need to be over 300 pages. My girlfriend who finished the book said it doesn't start getting good till chapter 16. Your girlfriend was wrong. In my opinion, good from the start. I can't even read the rest of this. I'm getting heated and about to get defensive for Bryn Weaver. Next we're gonna do Love Theoretically. Really just fully 180 here. Love Theoretically is by Ali Hazelwood. And this is a book that I totally understand people who don't love it. Okay, I rated it 5 stars for the vibes. I was giggling my ass off the entire time. And it just made me really happy. But I can understand how someone would read it and be like, what the f am I reading? It's one of those books. My review of Love Theoretically, you know what? The vibes were 5 stars. I have not laughed out loud that much in a while. True. This person said my favorite character was the hedgehog. Okay. Can she stop writing books about science and in general? Who gave this woman a laptop? And whoever it was, please delete her. That is foul. Can she stop writing books about science? We need women in STEM representation in this world. As a former woman in STEM, Ali Hazelwood, I need you to never stop writing about women in science. Okay, one more. I would theoretically love to gain back the brain cells I lost by reading this book. Okay, that's kind of valid. But actually, that's kind of wrong because I personally learned the difference between theoretical and experimental physics after reading this book. I learned that from a romance book. Educated. Should I do The Secret History? I should do The Secret History. The Secret History is a wacky dark academia book by Donna Tartt, and it has a lot of people who love it, but it also has a lot of haters. I rated this book, I think, like 4.5 stars. My review was very short, sweet, and to the point. I love this book, and I already want to reread it. Slow, but so good. It was a very slow book. It means a lot to me, though. I just love dark academia. This person said everyone in this book should have died. I actually kind of agree with that. And I loved it. This person said, I'm DNFing at 38% because I'm so bored and I want to die. The idea of reading this is making me not want to ever read books again. Wait, the next person literally said something very similar. DNF at 38%, definitely not for me. It has a beautiful aesthetic, but it's beyond boring. You could very easily find this book boring. You have to be in the right, mindset, I feel like, to read this book. Because it is slow. But I wouldn't say boring. I liked it so much. Apparently, Bunny's body isn't the only thing that falls off a cliff at the halfway point. That's not a spoiler. It literally, you know from the first page that happens. That's funny. We're gonna do Twisted Lies. I was just thinking about this book today because I miss Christian Harper. I have read Twisted Lies 2 times. The last time I did a reread, I think, was last November. I need to reread it soon. I love that man. Him and Reese, where Reese in Twisted Games can absolutely do no wrong. Christian, he did wrong, but what wrong? I don't see it. What are you talking about? That's exactly how I feel about that man. Yes, he kind of stalked Stella. I can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth. Yes, he technically stalked Stella. Whatever, man. It wasn't anything crazy. He just had a really big crush on her. Also, Stella was a content creator, and because of that, I'm like, there's a Christian that's gonna come into my life. This person said this was genuinely the worst book in the series. What a way to end the show. I would say Twisted Love in the series is a show, but to say Twisted Lies is a show, that's a shot to the heart, man. Watch me reread this book and be like, this is actually ass. That would be devastating. Anika said, I hate billionaires. I hate billionaires too. There's no but to this. I agree with that. But this is a fictional man. I'm gonna pretend he's a millionaire and not a billionaire. That makes it slightly better. This person said a year ago I would have ate this shit up. However, I did have a recent personality development and I find this book to be basic, unrealistic, and cringe. The 1 star is for Josh's comedic relief. I'm scared when I reread this book. That's exactly how I'm gonna feel. I do this to myself. Why do I continue to read recommended books from TikTok? Are they genuinely okay? Probably not. I do feel that way about some books that I see recommended on TikTok. But this one, I see it. I get why you feel that way, but that book just made me so happy. It is unrealistic and it is kinda Wattpad-y a little bit, but that's the point. On to number 5. I'm gonna do Things We Never Got Over, simply because I know the flaws. I see the flaws with that book. I get it. But that's another one where for some reason it really just made me so happy while reading it. And that's crazy. That is so crazy for me to say, because I fully see all of the red flags that Knox has, and also a few little comments that Knox made throughout it should make me angry. And they do in other books. But I just overlooked every red flag in this book. And I rated it 5 stars. Amen. Eamon said, wish I had the power to go back in time to steal the manuscript for this book and burn. This person says, stupid, the way I lost all my brain cells with this book. These people are apparently 36 and 43, but they talk and act like children. Everything was so cartoonish, from the way they interacted with each other and other people. Like, what? Goes to show you, when the youngest character in the book, who is 11 years old, by the way, is by far the most mature character here. I hated it. Valid. The most mature character in the book was 11 years old. Again, I don't know. Officer, literally take me away because I can't. You're so real for this. You were in your 40s and decided to pee in your backyard. I get it. I should be cringing, like I should, and that is so, like, what the fuck? These characters in this book are literally in their mid-30s, early 40s, and the way they acted throughout this entire book is just embarrassing for them. What can I say? I was on something when I read it, apparently. I've read it twice, and both times I was like, ah ha ha ha. For number 6, I'm doing Heartless by Elsie Silver. This book is perfection. It is, I don't know if it's my favorite in the Chestnut Spring series or if Reckless by Elsie Silver is. Those both, they're cutting it really freaking close. Let's read the 1-star reviews on this. Someone said humiliated that I read that. Okay, I'm not. Someone said ick, he's 13 years her senior. It's called an age gap romance. Like, I don't know what you want. Someone said decided to try out one of the free books on the Kindle app. Wish I hadn't. Number 7. What should we do for number 7? I want to do Beach Read because it's really popular, but I don't. Oh, maybe it will have some funny 1-star reviews because it's really popular. Let's pull her up. If I have to read another Crooked Smile again, I'm going to die. Live a little! How do people cry while reading this? I wanted to bang my head against the wall. I think I have no heart. Unofficially taking a break that no one asked for from romance because I'm apparently a stone cold bitch. One of the comments under that is, I cried because of the time I wasted reading this book. It all felt like a really long yawn. Okay. DNF, the female character, is annoying. Or she's grieving. Did we ever think about that? Number 8, we're gonna do One Dark Window, which is a part of a duology. It's the first book in the Shepherd's King duology. I rated it 4.5 stars. I loved it. I love this duology so much. It's a fantasy series. After reading it, it made me recognize that maybe I haven't been reading the most quality fantasy because the storyline and like the detail put into it was just so intricate, and it was so engaging. I felt like the flow of it was perfect, and there was like a little subtle hint of romance in it. It was just chef's kiss. Right after I say that, the first thing I see is DNF, slow, boring pace. I didn't get what this was advertised to be. Way too much repetition in this book, aka the main guy always had a smile tugging at his face. Did you ever think about the fact that maybe he's just happy? He wasn't. But did you ever think about the fact that maybe he's just flirting? Like a freaky maniac. The Nightmare's voice was always slick with oil. Oily voice was mentioned, I think, over 30 times. I didn't recognize that. It felt like I was drinking vegetable oil or something and I wanted to die. Okay, it was never that deep. Every character lacked development and personality. I can only tell you 2 things about the setting: mist and trees. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. Because that's also the only thing I can tell you about the setting. But here's the thing, I love mist and trees, so that didn't bother me. I guess this book wasn't completely useless. I learned the names of 482,929 tree species. That's funny. I really like that review because I agree with some of it. For number 9, I'm gonna do What Saves Us. I read What Saves Us in a reading vlog a couple months ago. I rated this book like 6 out of 5 stars. I loved it so much. But the thing is I understand people's annoyances with it, as most of the books that I've read. One specific annoyance that I had with this book that I fully overlooked and I don't give a shit about was how often the MMC called the FMC Mama and didn't use her actual name. He said like Mama so much that I'm like, shut the f up and use her name. And a lot of people pointed out that issue with it. If you overlook that, the book is great, which I did. You just have to overlook it. The 1-star reviews for What Saves Us. This is that, not accidental pregnancy. It's pregnancy trope. The FMC, I can't remember her name, but I can remember his name. She has postpartum depression, so it follows her like going through with the pregnancy and then how she's struggling with it after, and Shane is kind of like there for her, and he's always kind of been obsessed with her, but he's like trying to, it's not his kid, so he's trying to like help her but not overstep, but like love her but also not overstep. It was a really cute book. DNF at 39% due to the excessive use of mama. Yeah. A MMC written by a woman is one thing. An MMC who acts and speaks like a woman was confusing. Was he supposed to be a hot EMT ex-Navy SEAL or a 65-year-old grandma? Shane called Beth mama like 1,000 times and it was super cringy. Just overlook it, okay? But I get it. But that is only the tip of the iceberg as far as things he did and said that no man on the planet would do or say. Maybe he was raised by a woman. Did we think of that? I don't think he was. I think he actually had a family. He was so awkward, and honestly his obsession with her and his absolute lack of self-control when she was going through major PPD was gross and fetishy. I didn't feel that way at all. I thought he was just like a caring man, okay? I wanted Beth's brother to punch him as hard as he could. That's a little far. Now I almost want to reread the book and see if he resembles and sounds like a 65-year-old grandma. Number 10, the last book that I'm going to read is Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. I love this book. I love this series, the Brutal Birthright series. If you are someone who wants to get into like mafia romance books, this is the perfect series to start with. I loved Brutal Prince. I'm gonna do it because it's the first one in the series. It's definitely not my favorite. I think whatever this one is with the boot, Broken Vow, that one's my favorite, but I think this one might have some funny 1-star reviews. This person said, I've read Wattpad stories that were written better than this. 1 brutal star for 1 very not brutal prince. You know what? Callum, is that his name? He really wasn't that brutal. He was just a dickhead. But he wasn't brutal, so that's kind of valid. Thanks to everyone recommending me this book. It was What business does a 30-year-old man have with a 19-year-old? Was he 30? I don't even remember their ages. I agree with that. If he was 30 and she was 19, I'm not about age gap when it comes to like that. I feel like my comfort zone is when they're like 23 and up and the guy is like maybe like 33 and up to 40. Anything more and anything less is a little creepy for me. Like it just don't work for me. I don't think he was 30 and she was 19. I feel like I wouldn't have loved the book if those were their ages, or if I would have known those were their ages, because it would have just creeped me out a little bit. Whatever, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you are enjoying Vlogmas, and I will see you tomorrow.